something strange is happening right in front of our eyes, and it's got the whole internet whispering. For the first time in decades, Calvin Broadus, better known as Snoop Dogg, has gone completely silent. No jokes, no memes, no reactions, nothing. And for a man who built his empire on charisma, commentary, and constant engagement, that silence feels loud, almost unnatural. See, Snoop's always been the ultimate internet uncle. If a cat falls off a roof, Snoop's got a joke for it. If a new snack drops, he's reviewing it. If the Olympics are on, he's right there giving his wild play-by-play. This man lives online, connecting with millions daily. But suddenly, right after 50 Cent dropped his explosive Netflix documentary, The Reckoning, the vibe shifted. That doc didn't just premiere, it detonated. It shot straight to #1 in the US and the UK, throwing the entire music industry into panic mode. It dug deep into decades of alleged abuse, power plays, and hidden truths behind hip-hop's elite. Everyone's talking. Social media's on fire. Blogs can't stop posting, and 50 Cent is taking his victory laps.
What could this mean for the US, for fans, if Snoop Dogg is actually implicated? Because I know there's been talk about him being on some actual videos. What do you think that would look like if he was brought up in the cases as well?
Personally, it wouldn't shock me. I think that Snoop's PR team has really made him look good, you know, just like a trustworthy neighborhood guy. His alliance with Martha Stewart, I mean, they've really painted him out over the past almost 10 years, I'd say, to be a different figure. And as somebody who lived in Long Beach for a long time, I mean, people idolize Snoop. But unfortunately, he is tied in timelines, in videos, and evidence to Sean Combs. And if we just look back at his life, it's not as clean as what we remember or what we see right now in the media.
Right. Yeah, people around our age, man, we remember the old Snoop getting into everything, but it's like, I guess the newer generation, they're seeing him from a different light than like the early 90s. And we saw him, you know, on trial for murder and different things like that. We know the real Snoop.
Yet through all that noise, one voice has been missing. Snoop Dogg's. The man who always speaks suddenly said nothing. No support for his old friend Diddy. No defense, no denial, not even a meme. Just silence. And fans are asking the question nobody in mainstream media seems brave enough to say out loud. Why? At first, people thought maybe it was just respect. Maybe Snoop was laying low while things cooled off. But then insiders started pointing out something deeper. Snoop and Diddy weren't just industry pals. They were family. Their kids grew up together. Snoop's son and Diddy's son even went to UCLA at the same time, hung out, traveled, modeled together, all under the guidance of the late Kim Porter, who reportedly acted like the glue holding those families close. So when Diddy's name started swirling in the darkest allegations hip-hop has ever seen, fans expected Snoop to either stand tall or step away, loyalty or distance, one or the other. But doing neither, that's what set off alarms. People started digging through old footage. They found that talk show clip where Diddy laughed and said, "When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it." At the time, it felt like just another Diddy moment. Cocky humor. But now, when you rewatch it, sitting right next to him is Snoop Dogg giving a quiet, uneasy smile. Fans swear it looks different now. Less like a joke, more like a man holding back knowledge he doesn't want to speak. That expression, that silence, became the first clue. The more 50 Cent trolled on social media, the more cryptic posts he made, the more people started asking, is Snoop staying quiet because he's protecting someone or himself? No one's claiming guilt. Let's be clear, but the pattern is suspicious. When a star that outspoken suddenly disappears from the conversation, it raises questions about what's really going on behind the scenes. And this is just the beginning, because once you start following the whispers about the tapes, the memoirs, and the events that trace all the way back to the 90s, Snoop's silence starts to look less like peace and more like panic. So buckle up. We're diving into the part of hip-hop history that the mainstream never wanted you to hear. Before the headlines, before the silence, there was family. And that's exactly why today's tension feels so personal. Snoop Dogg didn't just know Diddy from the music scene. Their worlds were woven together. We're talking kids growing up side by side, vacations together, birthday parties, matching Letterman jackets at UCLA games, the kind of closeness that doesn't happen by accident. Snoop once said himself that his and Diddy's kids had been best friends since they were 6 or 7. And who made that possible? The late Kim Porter, the heart that connected the Combs family to nearly everyone in hip-hop's upper circle. Kim was a stylist, a mother, and a quiet force who moved between worlds. She could host moguls one night and mothers the next. People close to her say she was the one who made sure Diddy, Snoop, and their families felt more like cousins than collaborators. And so when Diddy's empire started cracking under the weight of new accusations, Snoop's silence cut deeper than gossip. It hit like betrayal or fear, because loyalty like that isn't casual. It's emotional, it's public, it's generational. Those kids literally grew up together. They rapped together, modeled together, even appeared in each other's social media posts. This wasn't two megastars nodding at award shows. It was two families moving as one unit. And that's what makes Snoop's disappearance from the conversation so wild. Think about it. This is the same man who jumps online to joke about politics, sports, and random internet memes. Yet when the biggest scandal in hip-hop history hits his extended family, he goes completely dark. Not a post, not a comment, not even an indirect emoji. Fans started connecting dots that the media wouldn't touch. If Diddy's world was imploding, maybe everyone connected to him was laying low. But here's where it gets messy. Snoop's global brand isn't just hip-hop anymore. He's NBC's golden child, the Olympics funny commentator, the family-friendly face of weed culture. His silence doesn't just protect a friend, it protects billions in partnerships, sponsors, and image deals. Behind the scenes, insiders say the connection between Snoop's family and Diddy's goes far beyond friendship. More like insurance. Kim Porter reportedly kept journals, voice notes, and digital files as her safety net, worried about the powerful men around her. Some people online believe those files might hold information about more than just Diddy's world. And that's why everyone connected to that circle is suddenly treading carefully. Let's be real, none of this is proven. But the timing, the silence, the shared history, it all adds tension to a situation already boiling over.
Snoop letting Diddy rub on his hand.
Damn.
You understand? And that's where one of the exes come from. Snoop.
Can you hold it up a little bit more? Let me see how that. Oh yeah, dang.
You understand? We don't hold our man hand. We shake it and get it back in our pocket. Snoop and Diddy, in an appropriate way. But the reason why they in there is speak about that. And with Biggie. Now, how you rolling with Pac? This is a big question for everybody. If Pac came to death row and he was there, he went to court with you. You're on, death row. You're about to do some time. So, and I ain't talking about the record label, the murder charge. How do you find yourself with somebody rolling with you? He bought his way out of a charge of two white 50-year-old young ladies. You understand? He don't respect no females. The black females, he put dog chains around. You understand? So he's no better. He just got his own type of way.
Who was the exes that was taken out of the book?
The exes was for Snoop.
Oh.
Yeah, it was for him. About him sleeping with, supposed to been in the bed with Diddy.
Whoa, that's
and,
crazy.
They caught it. You understand? Like I said, we call him the director. You don't sit on his lap or do what Diddy want to do. It's cut. You do what he wants you to do. It's action.
Now, when the man who made Drop It Like It's Hot can't even drop a single word, people start asking what kind of fire he's trying not to feel. And just like that, what started as simple friendship has become the focus of online detectives worldwide. Every old interview, every throwback clip, every photo with Kim Porter or Diddy is being re-examined like evidence in a case the culture can't stop trying to solve. Because this isn't just gossip, it's about the blurred line between loyalty and self-preservation. When does standing by your people become protecting yourself? That's the line Snoop seems to be walking right now, and the world's watching every silent step. When The Reckoning hit Netflix, it didn't land softly. It hit like a sonic boom. Overnight, 50 Cent went from trolling on Instagram to detonating the biggest truth bomb hip-hop has seen in decades. The series dug deep into the darker corners of fame, power plays, manipulation, and the kind of allegations nobody in the business wants aired out. Within 24 hours, it shot to the top of the charts in the US and UK. And suddenly every label exec and publicist in Los Angeles was glued to their phone, praying they wouldn't hear their client's name next. But 50 didn't stop at exposing stories. He aimed the camera at the entire culture. He called out the industry machine that protects the untouchables, the people who always seem to escape consequence. His message was clear: no one's too famous to fall. And that's exactly when Snoop Dogg, the most talkative man in music, went completely quiet. No memes, no reaction posts, not even a slick "congrats nephew" to 50. Just silence so thick you could feel it. Why? That's the million-dollar question. See, Snoop and 50 have always shared that playful energy online, roasting each other, cracking jokes, celebrating wins. So when 50 started hinting that more names could drop in a possible sequel, fans noticed the tone. His captions started carrying double meanings, little emojis and cryptic phrases that sounded like inside jokes. But if you know 50 Cent, you know he doesn't post anything by accident. He's a chess player, not a checkers guy. And his followers started reading between every line. Is he hinting at Snoop? Industry insiders began whispering that 50 had seen paperwork, phone records, maybe even footage that connected more people than the public realizes. Nobody outside the investigation knows what's true, but one thing's clear. 50 Cent's documentary forced everyone to pick a side. Either you speak out and distance yourself, or you stay silent and let people assume the worst. That's why Snoop's quiet hits so different. His whole career has been built on voice, the cool uncle energy, the jokes, the open mic honesty. For him to suddenly vanish online just as the doc exploded, that wasn't coincidence, it was strategy. Every publicist in Hollywood was likely telling clients, say nothing until we know what's in those files. Meanwhile, fans went full-on detective mode. Old clips resurfaced, award shows, interviews, late-night appearances, and the internet started analyzing every facial expression. One moment in particular made the rounds, that late-night clip where Diddy cracked his infamous line, "When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it." At the time, everyone laughed. Now, viewers freeze-frame Snoop's reaction, a tight, uncomfortable smile. Some call it guilt, others say it's just awkward timing. Either way, it's become symbolic of his current silence. For 50 Cent, the reckoning isn't just a docuseries, it's a power move. He's forcing the industry to face its ghosts, to stop pretending certain names are untouchable. And as his project climbs the charts, every celebrity connected to that old school circle is suddenly reevaluating their next post, their next quote, their next friendship. Just when fans thought the reckoning had already blown the lid off, another twist dropped, this time from the legal world itself. A high-profile attorney, Ariel Mitchell, went on national television and dropped what sounded like a bomb. According to her, someone tried to sell her a compromising video supposedly filmed inside one of Diddy's Atlanta homes. Now let's pause. She never confirmed any names, and no tape has been made public. But her words were enough to send the internet spiraling. She said the footage appeared to show two famous men, and the second celebrity, the one she wouldn't identify, was, in her words, more high profile than Diddy. Instantly, social media lit up with theories. People began tossing around names from Hollywood to hip-hop, and one name, fairly or unfairly, kept surfacing in comment sections: Snoop Dogg. Why? Because of that phrase, more high profile. To fans, Snoop fit the description. The global brand, the commercials, the family-friendly image, the Olympic commentator. He's everywhere. To be clear, there is zero verified evidence tying Snoop or anyone else to that footage. The attorney herself said she couldn't legally identify the person involved and emphasized that the celebrity shown might not have even known they were being recorded. Still, that detail, the possibility of an unknowing participant, made the whole thing feel darker. It suggested a bigger scheme, one built on blackmail and control, the kind of manipulation people have whispered about in the entertainment business for years. That's when speculation about insurance tapes began swirling again. Fans started recalling old industry legends, stories of powerful figures recording private moments to keep leverage over their peers. Whether truth or myth, those rumors suddenly felt possible in the wake of the federal raids on Diddy's properties. The thought that law enforcement might now have access to any digital archives made the silence around certain stars feel almost strategic. And in the middle of all that noise sits Snoop Dogg, calm, quiet, smiling in new brand deals, but saying nothing about the chaos unraveling around him. Every headline makes his quiet look more intentional, more protective. as if he's waiting to see which way the storm will blow before he speaks. Meanwhile, investigators are reportedly sifting through hard drives, phones, and digital archives seized during the raids. None of those materials have been made public, but insiders claim the amount of data collected is massive. For fans online, that means one thing: the waiting game has begun. So now the narrative looks like this. 50 Cent drops a doc that exposes the culture of secrecy. An attorney hints at an unseen video. The feds raid multiple properties, and one of the loudest voices in music suddenly goes silent. Whether that's guilt, caution, or just good PR, nobody knows. But perception is everything, and right now the perception is heavy. The industry's biggest question isn't who's guilty anymore, it's who's next. And until the investigations finish, everyone with a legacy and a brand to protect is choosing the same strategy Snoop Dogg has mastered: quiet. To understand why Snoop Dogg's silence feels so unsettling today, you have to rewind to one of hip-hop's darkest nights. September 7th, 1996, Las Vegas, Nevada. The Tyson fight had just ended. The strip was alive with flashing lights, music, and money in the air. But within hours, everything would change. Tupac Shakur would be shot multiple times in a BMW driven by Suge Knight, and the fallout would shape rap forever. Back then, Snoop wasn't just another artist on death row. He was one of its biggest stars. He and Pac had shared stages, tracks, and brotherhood. But after the shooting, their friendship became a fog of confusion, guilt, and unanswered questions. Suge Knight, now serving a long prison sentence and with nothing left to protect, has since spoken openly about that night, and his recollection sent chills through the culture. According to Suge, Snoop was supposed to be with them that evening. Death Row treated the Tyson fight as a mandatory family event, a show of unity. But at the last minute, Snoop didn't show. He skipped the fight, skipped the after party at Club 662, and, as Suge tells it, broke a long-standing code. Nobody knows why. Maybe he was tired, maybe he had a feeling, or maybe, as some in the street still whisper, he knew the night would turn violent. Suge paints a vivid picture of what happened afterward. As Tupac lay in a Vegas hospital bed fighting for his life, Snoop reportedly came to visit. Suge says Snoop walked in pale and trembling, saying, "Pac hates me right now," before running to the bathroom and vomiting. That reaction, physical, immediate, emotional, has haunted people who heard the story. Some saw it as grief, others called it guilt. Nobody can prove either way. Then came the detail that's kept conspiracy boards alive for decades: the walkie-talkies. Suge and members of his security team said Death Row used special radio systems during that trip. Witnesses later claimed that right after the gunfire, a voice came over the radio saying, "Got him." Warren G., Snoop's cousin, confirmed in interviews that Snoop had been at his house that night with one of those police-style scanners. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the retelling, it sounds like something out of a movie, a connection too eerie to ignore. Over the years, former insiders like Gene Deal and other bodyguards have suggested that alliances inside hip-hop's East Coast-West Coast war were more tangled than fans ever realized. Lines were blurry, loyalties shifting. Theories, and they remain only theories, claimed some artists were working both sides to survive the chaos. To some, that meant Snoop's absence from Vegas looked less like luck and more like strategy. But what's undeniable is how that night changed him. After Tupac's death and Death Row's collapse, Snoop reinvented himself completely. Smoother, calmer, detached from the violence that once defined his world. He crossed over to the mainstream, turned his name into a brand, and kept his past in the rearview mirror. Still, every time another documentary digs into the 1990s, the questions resurface. Who really knew what? Who got out just in time? And why does Snoop, who usually loves to tell stories, always get quiet when the conversation turns to Vegas? By the late 90s, Snoop Dogg wasn't just surviving, he was transforming. The same man once called the most dangerous rapper in America was suddenly cracking jokes on late-night TV and showing up at family award shows with that signature smile. It was a full image reset, and it worked. Think about it. Snoop went from a man on trial for serious charges in the early 90s to becoming the face of mainstream hip-hop. He was everywhere. Commercials, talk shows, cookbooks, kids' movies, Olympic broadcasts, you name it. That kind of crossover doesn't happen by luck. It's strategy, a reinvention that took him from the gang wars of Long Beach to global brand status. So for now, all eyes stay on Uncle Snoop, the man who went from Long Beach blocks to Olympic stages, from headlines to halos. Maybe he's just protecting his peace, Or maybe he knows the next chapter of hip-hop history is about to get rewritten, and he's bracing for impact. Either way, one truth stands tall. When a man that loud goes this silent, the world listens even closer.